Hello, everyone, and welcome to C. Thomas Talks. Um, this particular subject is a very touchy subject. It's a very hot button underground subject that is every once in a while creeped its head up. All right, interracial relationships. Okay, interracial relationships. Now, before I speak, I wanted to look up the definition for an interracial relationship. Okay, like is there a concrete definition to this term? Okay, 'cause a lot of people say it, but when I ask like, what does it mean, a lot of people don't give a clear definition as to what it means or what it is. So I looked it up. Looked up, encyclopedia.com/social/social sciences general terms and concepts. And I typed in interracial dating definition, and what came up is, well, more specific, it said interracial marriage. But for the sake of argument, I'm going to assume you can use the definition for just relationships, not just marriage, but relationships, whatever, right? So it says here, just quote from it: interracial marriage. Okay, interracial marriage is a term used to describe marriages. You could just say marriages or relationships in general. Okay, or more than platonic relationships. Interracial marriage is a term used to describe marriages that take place between people who are from different racial or ethnic groups. Intercultural marriages are defined as marriages between people who come from two different cultural backgrounds. Okay? So interracial is a relationship between two people who are of different racial or ethnic groups, right? Like African, European. And intercultural marriages or relationships are defined as a marriage between or relationship between people who come from two different cultural backgrounds. Let's say you have uh, a group from, let's say you have a group from Texas, right? Texas has its own culture, and then you have a culture from New York. For example, Jay-Z and Beyonce. That's an intercultural because they have different cultures. There is a different culture from Texas to New York. Hence the term culture shock. Okay, you're part of a certain culture or a certain way of life, and you go to a place where they do things different from what you're used to. That's a culture shock. It's a different culture. All right. Now back to the main point: interracial. Normally, when people when people hear the term interracial marriages or interracial relationships, you generally think of black and white, African American, white people, or Caucasian, right? Especially in this country. Now, I don't know what it's like in other countries around the world, but I know in the United States, when you say the term interracial or you hear the term interracial, your mind pretty much automatically goes to black and white. Black person, black woman, white man, black woman, all that stuff, right? And it is a very, very touchy subject because of the stigma that is behind this idea of interracial relationships, right? Now, we live in a culture where it's not often you can say one person is 100% anything. Like if you were to do your DNA, you could find 75% of is this and 20% is this and 4% is this and 1% is this. So I think what people mean by that interracial is like, what culture or race do you identify with the most? Right? Like what were you brought up, like what type of culture or racial identity do you have? or what you were taught, and are you with someone who does not have that? Like someone can be like, I'll put this. Here's a question: can someone who has a white mother or a black father or vice versa, or what they would consider a mulatto child, which is a derogatory term, because mulatto comes from the term mule, and for those who don't know, a mule is a donkey and a horse mix, mulatto, right? Mulatto was a term used for people who were quote unquote biracial, right? And usually when they meant biracial, they usually meant black parent and a white parent, either a black father or white mother, or a white father and a black mother, right? But biracial can be anything. It could be anything that if you don't have a mother and father of the same race, it can be white mother, Hispanic father. That's biracial, right? But why is it a hot button topic, especially amongst black and white? Let's just get right in. Let's just get right to the nitty gritty, right? When people in this country hear the term interracial, they think of black and white, right? Black and white. But why is it such a hot button topic? Now I know why. I'm very well aware of why. But for those who don't know and who may have this question, let's say somebody's watching this video and they ask this question. Well, why is it such a big deal for people to when people quote unquote date outside their race? Why is it such a big deal? Well, I'm gonna give you a little history lesson on this. Now, whether or not you agree with it, that's up to you. But for those who don't know what's the whole hoopla about, and where did the whole issue come from, let's break it down. Right? Many years ago, when Europeans and descendants of Europeans captured and kidnapped Africans and descendants of Africans and brought them over here to the Western Hemisphere, whether it be South America, whether it be the Caribbean or United States of America. Okay, because majority of the Africans who were enslaved went to Brazil. The smallest population of Africans brought to the Western Hemisphere was United States. The majority went to Brazil. The second largest is the Caribbean. Okay, but that's not here and there. For a long period of time, there was this thing about the the white slave master um having sex with their African slaves, right? And giving birth to children that were biracial, from the white father and the black mother, right? And what would happen is, when that child was born, depending on that child's complexion back then, they would get a certain amount of fair treatment. Okay, there were terms used for this. Like you call somebody like fair skin. Fair skin was applied to children who were born that their complexion was closer to the father, the white father, than the black mother. Like the African woman can have children by the slave master. They can have it could be twins or it could be just siblings in general. One child can be fair skin and the other child can be dark, right? Even if they are related by the same mother and the same father, the light skinned child would be treated differently and in many ways better than their darker sibling. Okay? This created a rift. This created a rift between the darker complected slaves and the lighter complected slaves. Right? Now we're gonna fast forward sometime. We're gonna fast forward. Now, we know about the stories of the white slave master having sex with their black African male slaves, right? But what we don't talk a lot about is the either the slave master's wife or the slave master's daughter would also seek sexual favors from the black African male slaves. Okay, and and the child will be born that way too, where the male slave can impregnate the white slave master's wife or their daughter and bear children that way too. Okay, both of those just crazy scenarios, but they actually happen. Now, what also happens is what also happened is you had some like their relationships built now. You have white women or white men wanting to be with the African slaves. You also had some African slaves want to be with the white counterpart, right? It could be it could be for status reasons. It can be for just to get in good favor with the slave master or stuff like that. And those things trickle down. Now, here's the thing. During slavery and when slavery was abolished, when it was just it was all whites and all blacks separated, segregation, separation. Those actually not the same thing. Don't mistake separation for segregation. That's not the same thing, right? You may think they're synonyms, but they're not the same thing. Separation and segregation are not the same thing. But anyway, during segregation, when blacks and whites were separated, okay, you had all black communities. You had all black communities. Some were thriving. You had all black everything. Black businesses, black, families, black mother, black father, black child, right? They were separate from their white counterparts, right? The whites were doing whatever they wanted to do and all that stuff, but they never met, right? What happened is, in moments where a black person and a white person would come together and either have an affair or fall in love and have a relationship, a marriage, it was seen as dirtying the blood, if you will. Like whites thought the same way, blacks thought the same way. Like, stay away, stay away from them because the blacks would tell the children, stay away from these white folks because they're trouble. Because every time they come around us, we end up having some problems, right? The whites would say, well, stay away from those blacks. They said other terms, but I'm just going to keep it PG. Stay away from those blacks because every time those blacks come around, they cause trouble. Both peoples say the same thing about each other. The other one causes trouble whenever they meet. Because the last time they were together, the last time blacks and whites were together, it was not a good situation. Okay? So there was mistrust, there was anarchy between the two groups, right? Now, that mistrust and that, it's like saying, well, why do you need to go to the other side? Why do you need to go to the other side? Like, what's so special about them that you can't find in your own people, right? Blacks would say it to their their kind. Whites would say it to their kind. Like, what's so special about the whites? What do they have that you want so bad that you would leave your own to go over there? Whites would say the same thing. What's so bad about us whites that you want to go over there and mess with those black people? Like I said, they didn't use those terms, but keep it PG. And for years, it's always been a rift, especially between blacks and whites. Now, like I said, interracial does not exclusively mean black and white. It does not. Interracial does not mean exclusively black and white. But in this country, especially, in other countries, but especially in this country, we think interracial. Let's know what you think. Now, now here's the thing: when the child is born from a interracial relationship, The question normally would be, well, how would that child be raised? Like, what culture, what racial group will raise that child? Because if you have a mixed child where the child is like black or white, but how will they identify themselves? And there's a big social, I should say, big social uprising on cultural, racial, and ethnic identity. Well, it's always been. It's actually, I won't say uprising like it just started. No, it's always been like that. It's always having pride in your cultural, racial, ethnic identity. How you identify yourself is very important. And what's also important is what group you identify. Is one is important how you identify yourself as an individual. Then you say, okay, what group do I identify myself as? Like, what group do I relate to the most? And that usually comes from the group that raised you. Because you can be a mixed child, but if you were raised in quote unquote black culture, you 9 times out of 10 will see yourself as a black person, even if one of your parents is white. Same thing reverse. You can be raised, you can be a biracial person. But if you were raised in a white culture or a white household with certain values that they have that a black culture may not have, you may identify yourself as white, even though you have a black parent. So interracial, it's very touchy because you don't know because the group wants to know. The group wants to know for an individual, how do you identify yourself? Because do you identify yourself with us? Because if you identify yourself with us, then we expect certain things from you if you identify yourself with us. All groups do that. All ethnic groups do that. Do you identify yourself as, even in religions, do you identify yourself as Christian or Muslim? Because in both religions, there are certain guidelines and codes, so to speak, that govern that religion that the other one doesn't have. Okay, even if they're similar, there's still some things that one has the other one doesn't. That if you were raised under a certain sort of religious guidelines, the group wants to know, what do you identify yourself as? That's what the group wants to know. You can say, however, you can dictate as an individual how you want to identify yourself. That's first. That's most important. How do you identify yourself? Okay, but the group, the tribe, so to speak, wants to know how do you like what group do you identify yourself as? Because in some cases, how you identify yourself with the group can either be an asset or liability, meaning you can do things to push the group back. You can do or say things that pushes the group back. And if you do something to push the group back, you will be considered a liability. Because if you do something bad that is detrimental to the group as a whole, to the family, so to speak, many things can happen. Lives can get lost. It can have an effect. It can have a negative effect economically, socially, politically, things like that. That can also benefit the other group, the quote unquote enemy. I know it's touchy, but that's how it happens. Because if one group is an enemy of the other group, yet you are the result of both groups, right? You are the result of both groups. Okay? You are multicultural, multi-ethnic, multiracial. But every group wants a piece of you. Let's take this case in point, former President Barack Obama. born from a Kenyan father, an African father, and a Caucasian mother, right? Now, she's half black, half white. Politically, he was seen as the first black president, right? That's how he was always depicted. Even though his mother is white, he was seen and viewed as the first black president. Now, why was that? Why was he considered the first black president even though half of him, literally half of him, is white? His mother. Who took him and said, okay, he's one of us. Black people took him and said he's one of us. The white people rejected him. Now why? Think about that. We all know he's biracial. Another case in point, Bob Marley. Black mother, white father. But black people took him and claimed him. Whites didn't. Here's another one. Bruce Lee. Many people don't know. Bruce Lee. Part Chinese, part German. People don't know that. But how is he viewed? As Chinese. So what makes a group claim you and the other group reject you? Now see how deep this interracial relationship and marriage go? Now I'm going to speak for myself personally. Now I did all that going around. Now I'm bringing it to me. How do I consider myself? I consider myself as a black man. Well, Chris, have you ever dated someone outside of your race? No, I have not. Chris, do you find other women attractive? First of all, I'm married, right? But do you find women other than black women attractive? Yeah, there are plenty of women who are attractive. So Chris, if you find other women attractive that are not black, why haven't you dated outside of your race? Well, good question to the phantom questioner. It's all a matter of preference for me. Now, some people date outside their race. It could be because they don't like themselves. There's a mental thing. They don't like themselves. They don't like how their group has treated them, so they go to a different group that is not of their own. That happens. But me personally, I am most attracted to black women. Black women of all. I don't care if you're American, Caribbean, Brazilian, like women of African descent, direct African descent. Okay, I'm attracted to. Whether you're from the continent, you could be a black woman in Australia, you could be a black woman in Japan, or a black woman in America, in the Caribbean, South America. Black women in general, I'm attracted to. I mean, does it matter to me how dark they are? Not really. My mother's light. I have aunts that are extremely light and extremely dark. Same mother, same father. My grandfather was light. My grandmother was dark. My mother is one of 13 children. They all range from different colors. So when I see other women that are different hues or colors, it doesn't bother me because I have a reference of different colors in my family, right? So does it matter, if they're like extremely dark or light skinned? No, I just like black women in general. I've seen some drop dead gorgeous light skinned women. I've seen some insanely beautiful dark skinned women, like just make your blood boil. So the range of colors for black women doesn't matter to me. I am most attracted to black women. I've seen like I've seen Asian women. I've seen European women that are attractive, but it's like, okay, yeah, she's attractive, but doesn't really go that far. The women that really that pulls my attention and keeps me focused, black women. Black women. It just it does something to me. It's like, well, what about Hispanic women? What about women who are Puerto Rican? Well, let's talk about that. So those who don't know, like they say, Puerto Rican women is part native, part black, part European. I found some Hispanic women, Latina women, who are and just because a woman is Latina or Hispanic does not mean they're black. Because Latino or Hispanic is not a skin color, not a skin color. So don't confuse skin color with ethnicity. Don't do that. Don't confuse ethnicity with skin color. Don't do that. That is inaccurate. That is inaccurate. And no, it ain't working. So I love black women. I am most attracted. I've only dated black women. And I've dated black women of different different colors. I'm married to a black woman who's darker than I am. Beautiful. I've never dated anyone. I've never dated a white woman. It's not that I don't want to. It just never crossed my mind to do it. Never crossed my mind to say, I wonder what it'd be like to date a white woman. Never crossed my mind. It has never crossed my mind to say, I wonder what it would be like to date a white woman. I wonder. I've never thought about it. It like how certain things don't cross your mind. Like it just didn't. It just don't cross my mind. Like, oh, all right, just don't think about it. Like, okay, attractive. That's it. When it comes to dating and marrying, black women are the only women that have ever stuck in my head. Whether they be from the continent of Africa, whether they be from the Caribbean, whether they be from South America or North America, black women are the only ones who have ever caught my attention, who have ever got me stuck. Like I said, so much so, I married a black woman. So, interracial is a touchy subject. Now what you do with your relationship, like the personal relationship. Now, I'm not the kind of person that would just, if you're dating a person outside of your race, I'm not the kind of person going to like get a picket sign and come to your door, knock on your door, and drag you out and say, you should only date black women. What's your problem? I'm not going to do that. I'm not the kind of people who would just, go on social media and see a picture of a black person and a white person dating and go berserk. That's your business. What you do in your personal life is your business. I just know for me, what gets me going, what gets my blood boiling, is black women. Are black women. That's just for me. You know, that whole thing about you see a black woman with a white man or a uh white woman with a black man, and people go nuts. No, I got better things to think about. I got more important things to think about than who you're dating or who you're marrying or who you had a child with. Whether that can be white with white, black with black, black and white. I personally don't care. That's your business. If it don't bother me about white and white or black or Asian and Asian, it don't bother me about black and white because it don't affect me none. It don't affect my moves and the decisions that I make. The decisions that I make don't affect them. That couple, the decisions that they make don't affect me and my family. So I ain't the kind of person that just go off and, oh man, why you do this? Okay, like how does that affect you? How does Serena Williams marrying her husband who was white and they have a child, a beautiful child, how does their life affect you? If it didn't affect you before you knew they were married and having a child, it shouldn't affect you now. Like, okay, they're married, they have a child, and you know what I mean, people who are black and white getting married and having children that you don't know, that don't affect your life. So why should that couple be the one couple that just makes you go insane? Makes no sense. We got better things to think about. Congratulations to them. Much love to them. Congratulations on this son, son or daughter, on the baby. I don't want to get that incorrect, but you know, okay, that should be as far as it go. Congratulations, on the baby, on getting married. May you have a glorious and productive life together. Okay, moving on. That's just how I see it. That's just how I see it. If for those who just going berserk, like just on the internet, especially on the internet, because 9 times out of 10 people doing this on the internet. They ain't gonna really do this to the person's face. Like those. Oh, how dare you go against your race? You must not like your black parents. You must have a problem with your black mother or stuff like this. How dare you bring this mixed child into the world? Just this mixed blood. Okay. After you've done all of that, after you typed all of that and sent it and hid your name and took your face, made a different avatar so nobody can't find you. After you done all of that, keyboard kung fu, you know that that you know that that just that keyboard cripping and that blood blogging. After you do all that gangster stuff, that fake gangster stuff, how does that pay your bills? How does someone interracial relationship pay your bills? How does someone interracial relationship get you to work or get your kids to work? How does that relationship affect your relationship? See, that's just a nutshell. Like, what they got to do with you? You got famous interracial couples. You got non-famous interracial couples. You know how many non-famous interracial couples there are in the world that you know nothing about, and you go to work every day. You spend all your time. You got all this stuff going on. You got relatives who ain't crap. You got a baby mama or baby daddy who ain't doing you who treating you dirty. You bypass all of that to go to some couple that you don't even know to write something crazy. But you afraid to snap on your boss that keep on harassing you at work. You ain't doing nothing to them. You ain't doing nothing to your boss that's a jerk, whether it be a male or female. You ain't doing nothing to him or her who's a jerk. But you do all of that. You wait till you get home and say, you know what? When I get home, ooh, I'm gonna tell Serena Williams about herself. Meanwhile, your boss is a jerk. Meanwhile, your spouse or your partner is doing you dirty, who ain't doing you no good. All of that, you bypass all of that to get on the keyboard, to get on social media, to go cuss out a relationship that you don't know nothing about. Hmm, how that sound? Okay. Anyway, hope y'all enjoyed that. Hope you enjoyed my little talk, whatever. Leave a comment down below. Talk about that. How you feel about it? Comment down below. Leave a comment down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Hit the little notification bell. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about this. Let's see what's really going on. Let's see what's the issue that people have, whether it be black, white, whatever. Let's talk about it. Like I said, it's not just black and white. Interracial is worldwide. It's not just black and white. Let's not forget that. I'm pretty sure a lot of people will be talking some black men, white women. Interracial relationship has nothing to do with just black and white. So anyway, glad y'all enjoyed. Catch you all later. Peace.